Okay, it's 12:30 and well, just loads of stuff's been going on. So let's take you through what's been going on. Okay, let's start on the left here. Well, the Victor's second corps have made no more progress through here. They were very, well, you can see they've been, well, loads of fatigue, had real trouble there. A little bit of a Prussian counterattack, but not much, and this has become quite static. They are just being given some more orders to push on, because I'd really like them to get down to here if at all possible. So that's just sort of been what's carrying on before. In the middle here is where it's all been happening. Okay, so what happened was, if I go here where you can look across. Okay, we can see that the corps that arrived yesterday, which is 6th Corps, were given orders to come forward, set up a gun line here, and engage in an artillery duel here. Look for some weakness. Okay, so the cavalry were here, protecting them. The Prussians maintain their gun line here, and the cavalry here. The Russians pushed forward, okay, to keep this in line of fire. So that began, the artillery sort of bombardment carried on. It was all sort of touch and go for quite a while actually, but ever so slowly the Prussians got the upper hand. And as you can see now, there was a whole Prussian 2 batteries, which is 1 count, has been destroyed. But the rest of them you can see is still pretty good strength. Well, you cannot say the same for the French. We've got a disordered guy here that's reduced. We've got a reduced guy here, a routed gun here, a routed gun here, and a routed gun there. Rather foolishly, probably, I left the guns in line, hoping to rally them to get them back into the fight quicker rather than they have to be disordered in one place. It's turn 13 just gone, so this guy's just become disordered, so I will pull him back next turn so he can be behind the infantry to gain good order. So that's what's been happening there. So that's not gone very well for the French. Nor's over here. Now there was a complete disaster gone on here, timing, all to do with orders getting lost or misunderstood. Two-pronged attack. We can see we have the Polish cavalry here, Van Dam's cavalry there, and they were, the idea as a joint attack on the end of the Russian line here with units from 5th Corps. Okay, however, the orders went out, 5th Corps got theirs, no problem at all. Kellerman, who's very, very reliable, somehow got a little bit confused with the rules and with the orders, and it got delayed by 2 turns. So these guys came in and just absolutely been hammered by the artillery. Eventually, they did attack in, and I did think, well, there's no way that the Russian cavalry are going to stand up to them. And you can see down here, the first thing that had in contact with the Cossacks is they were, well, they just didn't stand. They just went, didn't really cope with it at all. And then I moved them back here because of their low morale. Wanted them not to be in charge of getting double attacked. However, the 2 units of regular cavalry in here, I think there's some hussars in there. I'm not sure who's in there, but these regular guys really held their ground, and in fact have seen off, because the guys disrupted underneath it, seen off all the attacking French cavalry. So that was really surprised, because at that point I just thought there's no way that the Russians are going to cope with this at all. These guys still need to come back, but if they could come back quickly while the rest of these guys are not rallied, then that's really what the Cossacks are good at. Over here, though, has been a completely different story. We can actually see, I mean, earlier we saw the Austrians here, got a few here, but most of them are now here. What happened, if you remember, we had the Young Guard here, they were around this area here. Artillery drove the Austrians back. Then, I forget which corps this is now, 9th Corps, got the instructions to engage and pretty much drive the Austrians from the board. the Austrians moved back here, the French moved forward, and then the Austrians got new orders, was to come into the woods, as you saw a little bit last time, and then they've had the orders to come back to this place here, Stomfall, which most of them have done. However, there was quite a lot of some routed units, but units not in very good shape, but the corps chased here. Now they're on a withdrawal order, so a withdrawal order allows you to have one unit from this corps to act independently. So it was a unit of cavalry, not those guys there, unit of cavalry that came up here. Most of these formed square. This unit didn't. So it took that out, then went into the guns and took them out. Then found itself in a bit of a sticky situation. It actually got trapped in this sort of hex here. As you can see, it's been surrounded and they've killed it. Well, it couldn't retreat. So that's the end of the cavalry. And they could have come in. Well, anyway, they got killed. I think they got completely eliminated, just an eliminated result. We've got a few of the Austrians are still rallying, trying to come through. But we have the cavalry don't really have anywhere to go. Hopefully this infantry might recover. We've got a routed infantry over here that, well, if they fail the next one, then they are off the board. So we can see that the Austrians have taken place there. However, the other orders that have come through are originally for the Young Guard to take up positions here, but now they've just received orders to come and take this village. Now, they are pretty awesome, that Young Guard. I mean, they've got so much artillery, they're just going to blast it again. So as much as over here have gone so far, okay for the Allies, so far, this is going to be pretty problematic because it's only 12:30 at the moment. These can take this out, and then we've got this whole problem of them caught between two enemy forces. Plus, of course, Napoleon has quite a few other forces up there. Probably saving his guard, but there are, of course, the Polish corps down here that could be put in. Let's have a little overview of the board there. So, yeah. The cavalry combat in this game is really interesting. It really captures the historic accounts I've read. It's very back and forth. One drives the other side off, then some reserves get in and drove them back. It's very sort of interesting. And this Allied artillery has been most impressive. I really thought they weren't going to hold. I really thought they were going to hold, especially here. Every single one. Well, we had a few units here. We did have some... This guy here was in square. Yes, he was in square. We had a few squares over here, which some of the, because of the cavalry, I think it might be this infantry unit here, took that out, but then they responded. And that's still looking pretty good. It's a fragile line, but these aren't going to do anything for a while. There's quite a lot of infantry here, but one thing I've learned so far is that you don't go near these Prussian guns unless you're really serious about it. I mean, if this French gun line had even reduced it, by half, I think Napoleon would have a go at getting in there. But at the moment, it just seems like a complete death trap. I mean, I don't think anything quickly is going to happen along here. I mean, I think they will make progress. But there's no great breakthrough coming here. So it's a little bit interesting. I mean, it's a little bit unsure what's going to happen next. So at the moment, the key seems to be the Young Guard here. They're going to come through. They're going to take these. Okay, they will be fatigued at that point, probably early afternoon, mid-afternoon. Let's have a look at the reinforcements. We can see that the French they're on the 15th there. So the French have various units coming in. Okay, map to 1, 2 and 3. And you can actually see they're the ones right over the other side of the board. So we know from previous reinforcements I brought, and that's going to take quite a long time. The Allies have got this Austrian Reserve Corps and the Russian and Prussian Guards, really good units, coming on late afternoon. And they are, if we go back to the map here, they're going to come on here, which is quite close to the action, but this is not an easy bit of terrain to get through. The marsh, it won't take a lot for the French to hold them if they need to hold them for a bit. while they finish off these forces here. So, all to play for. I did think at one point, sort of 10 o'clock or so, that the French were just going to steamroller the Allies. I really did. I didn't think there was any way it was going to hold up, but they've done okay, mainly thanks to their cannon. As long as the cannon keeps firing well, and these can be slowed somehow. No idea how that could happen. There's definitely no Russians or Prussians that can go across and help at the moment. One of the things I have been thinking about as the Allied commander is moving back. The problem we have is once you limber your guns, you can't move them very far. Well within these other units catching them up. So yeah, I don't know. Might be need to. I'm a bit worried about these guys. I mean, they're okay at the moment. I'm worried about when these guys come across. Maybe you need to leave the infantry there, bring the guns back, form another line, bring the infantry back, and see what we can do there. Although as good as the Allied guns have been, there is a lot of artillery in that Young Guards unit. Anyway, so there we go. It is just come up to the 12:30 turn. I was going to go to 1 o'clock, but there's so much that's happening at the moment. It's been a real roller coaster of a morning.